Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cache, and you are watching Shay with the Hobbies. Hey, do I need to change this so we can do? Or are you okay with it being like this way? Should I make
No,
it?
this is fine.
Okay, that's
That's
fine.
up to you. I'm fine this way, yeah.
Okay, you're fine. That's all I cared about. If you're fine this way, I'm fine. This way. I don't really care. Y'all, sorry we're a little bit late. We had a nice little laugh, getting ready, getting in. Morning for Taj, it's evening for me. But we're not gonna hold y'all too long. We attempted to read the workbook. We both got some way through the book in some way.
Yeah.
We read something. I just think it just wasn't the time to go through the workbook. Like life just kept happening, and I was like,
It's like all of this.
Right, it's 90 something pages. So like,
yeah.
I started notes. I do have notes, but like, yeah, it was like legitimately like a class workbook. So I'm gonna get through it, but before this live, we tried. It wasn't. So we're gonna talk about what we did get from the book, and then like the class and everything, because we haven't even got to sit down and like talk about it together. So this is us doing that. We don't plan to hold y'all for super long, maybe about an hour if that. So Tash, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody in case they don't know who you are?
Hi everyone, my name is Tash. I have a YouTube channel on here called TrulyTash. I do videos on writing and journaling. And here I am with the lovely Cache. Thanks for having me here on your channel. We did a collab, I don't even know how long ago it was, like about a month ago, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like it was either end of June, beginning of July timeframe, I feel like.
Yeah. So we decided to do a masterclass together, and that was really awesome. We did the David Baldacci teaching mystery and thriller writing. So yeah, we pretty much did a video on that, and we wanted to do a part 2 because we completely thought like the workbook is its own thing. Like it's almost 100 pages long, guys. Like it's so thick. So we're like, when are we gonna do this video? And I'm like, I have no idea. So we thought it'd be easier to come together and have a nice chat on a live stream. So yeah, thanks for having me today.
Very, very welcome. Okay, so I guess let's start with what we liked about it. What would you like?
I liked how he went into, I guess. Well, okay, I liked a lot of things. So let's start with his outlining method. I thought that this was really intriguing to me. Actually I would have to find where the section is. So if you go through... so his outlining process. So he described it as... I don't know if he described it exactly the same in the workbook as he did doing the actual videos, because I know he uses a lot of notebooks to take down his notes and outline scenes and things like that. But the way he describes it in the actual workbook is having 2 notebooks for his outlining. So he actually uses the first one, creates like a broad sweeping outline of like the whole story, I'm guessing the theme around it, what he wants to achieve in it, and then uses a separate notebook to go chapter by chapter and do his outline that way. So I just thought that was really interesting in the way he breaks it down into scenes, because I don't know, I'm used to sort of when authors give advice on like outlining and things like that, I'm expecting to sort of hear I don't know, something similar to like Save the Cat or the 3-act structure or something like that. But he's very loose with his outlines. He pretty much preaches not to go by your outline strictly. If you flow away from it, let it come naturally. I just thought that was really interesting, his process in that. So that was one thing, I really liked about his class. Do you want to share one of your favorite parts?
I think one of my favorite parts was just hearing how he talked about idea generation, because like I feel like so many times like I see that question a lot in like live streams, like where do you get your ideas from, or how do you know if it's a good idea? And I like that he talked about the writer's prism, because it was like a function of the videos and a function of the book. And it's like you have to be able to look at everyday situations and think, how can I turn it on its head? How can I make it different? What would make this stand out? And it's like what I've learned from doing, because this was my second master class and I've done one since then, is that in the master classes, they say things that you know because you're a human being that knows these things. But as a writer, you don't process them the same, so you don't think about them the same. So it's like, you know that how you see an interaction is going to be different from how somebody else sees it, but not thinking about that when you're writing is a completely different thing. So I like that. And I liked, and this is like in the book as well as like, I feel like he didn't have but maybe like one or two in the videos, but in the books, in the workbook, there are writing exercises, and I liked that he had those for things that he talked about. So it wasn't just like a, I'm gonna tell you this, but it's like, and then I kind of want you to do it too. Then I kind of want you to like see how this works for you. And like the number one thing that he says at like the beginning of the workbook and the class is like, everything I tell you might not work for you. Like, take what you can learn from it and throw away the rest. And I feel like so many times people are like, these are the hard and fast rules of what you have to do, and da-da-da. And so much of these great authors are saying like, nah, that's not even it. Like, hear what I gotta say, take what works for you, and like keep going. Because if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And I feel like younger writers, or not like young, but like when I say young, I mean like new to writing, or like still trying to figure out their writing voice, are so like, I gotta listen to everything. I gotta do what everyone is saying. Like, I can't do this, show versus tell, and da-da-da. Man, y'all, I read this book that read like a screenplay. Now, you know, for screenplays, for the most part, you are telling versus showing, because it's like, this is what happens. New York Times best-selling book.
Really?
New York Times, but I feel like part of it is also because the person who wrote it is like an executive producer in Hollywood, or like writer in Hollywood. So I think like the name kind of like helped it to sell as well. But like, I hated it, Paul hated it, and Paul made me finish it. I tried to DNF that book. Like, it was his turn to pick the book, so he picked the book. I tried to DNF it like 5 different times. No, we're gonna stick with it. It's my book. We're gonna stick with it. He threw the book at the end of the book. We went through all of this for nothing. Like, so I just to say that, like, I like that the more experienced authors are kind of like telling us, hey, don't think that you have to do all these things that everybody else is saying that you have to do. And I just like that him above everybody was very big on that. Like, if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. So I like that. I like that a lot. What about it did you not like?
Well, I don't know, for being a thriller writer, I feel like the part about writing action scenes was like so brief and just did not give me what I needed. Like, he goes into it a little bit. I remember just, when I watched the masterclass, like, I think I took a few notes. It wasn't really anything. There's about a page in the workbook on it, but it's nothing really. Yeah, it's like common sense stuff, you know. It's nothing that, I don't know. I wanted more tips on, I guess, how to really make things like sharper, you know, not drag out too long. Just make it really clear what's happening in the scene. He does mention like choreographing the action scenes and things like that. But I don't know. I just felt like if he went into more depth, it would have been very helpful, because, I cannot write action scenes.
I completely agree. Because as I was reading, one, it didn't make sense for how much action is supposedly in his books. Like, when he was talking about his books, how could it not be an action thriller? Like, you got, you know, sharp shooters and all this other stuff. Like, how is there not action? And I just thought, like, dang, you couldn't talk about that just a little bit more? Especially because for me, I feel like that's where I'm dragging in my thriller. I can do dialogue. Like, dialogue, I'm good at. But like, how do I keep this going for a whole novel? What do I need to be making happen? Like, I felt like there was a lot of emphasis on like the beginning, and a lot of emphasis on the suspense part of it, and not a lot of emphasis on like making a cohesive thriller novel, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like he went in on like a few good parts, really deep, and it was awesome. But it was like, this don't help me with the whole book. Like, the whole book, I'm kind of like, I'm lacking here. I don't know what I need to do for this part. So I definitely agree with you on the action. It was like the shortest section. I feel like even in my writing, it was the shortest section. Like on my notes, I feel like it was the shortest section. Yeah. Action is legitimately 4 lines.
Yeah.
Don't feel you have to rush them. Slow it down. Choreograph fight scenes. And that's all I wrote. That's legit all I wrote for action. Was not happy about that.
Yeah. It would have been also, it would have been nice if he sort of, I guess, went into a bit more like the different types of thrillers as well. Because I don't know too much of like of all the books that he's written, but it seems to be like the more action, suspense paced thrillers. But, you know, things like psychological thrillers, you know, maybe stories borderlining horror, thriller, like, would have been nice if we had a bit more. I mean, I guess he does, I don't know, depending on his experience. If he's just, you know, doing his masterclass based on what he's experienced, he might not be really good with those, I guess, subgenres of thriller. But
I definitely agree that I expected that there would be a little conversation about them, because there are so many different types of thrillers.
Yeah.
And so many different types of mysteries. And so since he was specifically covering mystery and thrillers, and like they even mentioned that there are so many multiple genres like in the workbook, but like that's the end of the conversation. Like that's the end.
Yeah.
It's like make sure you know the difference between mystery and thriller, and then you know what a mystery thriller is, and then that's it. Like that's like, so I agree with you. I also realized we didn't say hi to people, so let's say hi.
Yeah.
Was like, we just started going right in. Okay, Abby's scheduled for 2 a.m. my time, so I won't be here for the live, but I'm gonna watch it back. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Heather, howdy, thought I would come and give your stream so love. Thank you so much. I got to catch Heather's live earlier today, so that was really great to be able to catch that. So definitely make sure to check out her channel for sure. And I just lost the tab I was on. Okay. Kaylee in here saying, I'm in the middle of a sprinting session, so I have to do a rewatch. Smash that like button. We appreciate you. Jabria, hello. It is so good to see you. I am so glad that you are here. Pamela Masoke. Is that Masoke? Let me know if I'm saying it right or wrong. Hi, thanks for the topics. Masterclass is on my list of to-dos. I definitely would recommend it if you can like afford it, or if you find it for a discount or something. I would definitely recommend it because it's definitely, I've definitely learned stuff from the classes I've taken for sure. Charlotte, I just love this avatar. I don't know if I told you that, but I just love the lighting. I just love everything about it. It's great. Miguel, it's so good to see you, buddy. And no worries. Hey, I knew things were going on and whatnot, and like I was trying to reach out. So hey, take your time. School is more important. We will be here. I cannot wait to watch it and see how you like the class. Diana, hello. How are you? I hope you're doing great. Yeah, no, I think so. Honestly, if I'm comparing Baldacci and Brown's, I will say that Brown's was better to me. If I'm being honest, I feel like I probably got more out of Brown's. Like I watched Brown's and like I finished the epilogue like in the middle of this week for the thriller. Like his really did like give me a lot to think about and a lot to go on. But I will say that I feel like he does go more in depth on some things thriller wise and action wise, I feel like.
I will have to take a class.
Hello. Thank you. For those of you guys who don't know, Author JC is also one of the authors that did the Dan Brown Masterclass collab with me, her and Miguel. So definitely make sure you check out her video. It is listed in there is a playlist for my Masterclass collabs, and everybody's videos should be in there. So not just mine. You can check them all out and see, what you like. Very right. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. You're very welcome. Hey, like life happens. We pushed it back 3 times because my life was going on. So, it's okay. I am not judging at all. I'm playing Minecraft while listening. Would absolutely love to watch a masterclass on writing action. I don't know how good I am at it, but it's one of my favorite things. Right. I don't feel like there is a specific one for action, if I'm being honest. I feel like I've seen thriller and mystery. I've seen just general writing. I've seen writing for social change, but I don't think that. No, I definitely liked Dan Brown's more. Now, if I'm okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 pages of notes for Baldacci's, and for Brown's, I had 1, 2, 3, 4. So 5. So 5 front and back. So like 1 page more. But I feel like his was like maybe an hour or 2 shorter than Baldacci's, if I'm being honest. I feel like Brown's ended up being like 3 hours and some change, and I feel like Baldacci's was like 4 or 5 hours and some change. I can't exactly remember though. Okay, so, and if you guys have any questions or thoughts about the class or anything, feel free to drop them in there. Okay, so did you get anything from the class that you felt you could apply to your writing? And if you did, have you done that yet, or is it something you plan on doing in the future?
Yeah, so I think the main thing that I took away from the masterclass was when he was describing building characters, and he kind of went into a little bit about making sure that your setting is a character in itself, which is, I feel like one of his exercises. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of this to try and find it, but there is an exercise that sort of goes into that. But yeah, I have yet to implement that. It's something, I don't know. I'm still finishing my outline. Sorry, let me blow my nose. I have no idea where my tissues are. So yeah, he goes into it a little bit in the masterclass and the workbook, but I don't know. I think I want to do my own research on sort of building up the setting as well. I think it's something I'm going to try and do it for this first draft, but yeah, I don't know. I might wait till I finish the draft and then go back and sort of work on it a bit more, just because I don't want to put too much pressure on myself for the first draft of my current story. Still finishing the outline. Yeah, so, but yeah, I really want the setting to sort of, I don't know, just the grittiness of it. Like, I just have this picture in my head of what I want the setting to really do to these characters. And I think it would be really awesome if I could, tell that the way I want to with this story. So, yeah, I really appreciated what he said about that. So, yeah, that's what I took away.
I like that, especially because for me, the setting is so big for the thriller that I'm writing because, we talked about it a little bit. She's like on a road trip going across the country to do this thing she's doing. And so like the settings are all important because they play a big thing. And it was also something he said about like when he was talking about like antagonists and villains, and Dan Brown also talked about this about like sometimes your villain is a concept, it's not just a person. And so for my story, it's definitely the system that's wrong. Like there is a person that's like opposite them, but it's not the same. And so I liked that he talked about that. And for setting, N.K. Jemisin said the same thing about like your place is a character. It is a thing that you need to give life to because it makes so much of what happens to your characters as well. So yeah, that's another thing I like all these people, like whether they did their videos at the same time or not, like they be agreeing with each other. And so for me, it's kind of like, okay, this is definitely more true. Like this. So for me, the one thing that I got out of it that I have used is the hold on, let me get to the, so I'll make sure I'm like wording it right. Why did I just get there? No. I feel like where is it at?
I've like put tabs in everything, and I still cannot find like
Right,
the stuff I highlight.
right. Oh, cliffhangers. Cliffhangers. Like that whole section where he
Yeah.
like talked about them and like leave something unresolved with anticipation, ending with a scene that gives enough anticipation that something is about to happen. When he talked about like when he read like that chapter of like the guy coming to deliver the package and like what he saw made him do, I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. I want you to be like, what am I? So when I wrote the epilogue, the way that the first draft ends of the epilogue is it's like, you want book two, don't you? You want season 7, don't you? I bet you do.
I love that.
And so like I could not have done that without like hearing that and understanding what that meant. And like the only thing that I disliked, and but hey, Masterclass got another thriller writer, was Dan Brown goes into the different types of cliffhangers and what they are and how you can do them and how you can use them. So I did like again, I feel like I'm comparing and contrasting them, and I hate that. But at the same time, they both chose to do thriller writing. And if you're being honest, Dan Brown has written way less books than Baldacci. Baldacci has written like 36. I want to say Dan Brown has written like maybe 10, maybe. Right. So like there is some like somebody is like really, 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 really good at this, right? But then Dan Brown also he talked about how the same thing that both NK and Baldacci talk about is how like so much of publishing is getting lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just being a good writer, it's being a good writer and somebody seeing your stuff and them vibing with it, them agreeing to it. And I feel like when in our writing community, so much we focus on getting it perfect so that somebody picks it up and everything. And like NK talked about, the book that she got her agent with wasn't the first book that they ended up publishing. Dan Brown talks about he had published 3 books before anybody really paid attention to him. And once he got to his 4th book, then all his other books became bestsellers. David Baldacci talked about how he was like ready to give up. He was done because he thought, hey, ain't no more writing gonna do. And he was like, maybe I'll try a novel. And so I feel like that's the other thing that I took out of the lesson that I have been preparing for is it doesn't have to be perfect. And it's not gonna be. Right? It's not going to be perfect. And I feel like that was a mental hindrance that I had to finishing first drafts of novels, right? Because I've done short stories, but I'm like, Tash, I'm gonna get there. Like,
you're gonna do it.
I'm gonna get there. And so I just really, really liked that. So yeah, so the cliffhangers is definitely the thing that I like have actually been putting into what I've done since I've read that. So is there any advice or anything that he said that you just completely didn't agree with?
Not necessarily. I know the part when he was talking about like finding an agent and what to look for and things like that. I kind of skimmed over a little bit only because I'm not at that point yet. Like that's something I'd want to go into. Well, this is me personally, something I'd want to go into more depth once I'm at that querying stage. Also, at the same time, I'm sort of considering, I guess, indie publishing as well. So, yeah, it was kind of something that I kind of glossed over a little bit. And also kind of, what we've just sort of said before, a lot of it is to do with luck as well when it comes to the whole publishing side of things. Like you can plan as much as you want.
Right.
At the end of the day, it might not even happen. Might happen completely differently as to what you thought it would. I don't know. It's a lot and it's stressful. I think we've all seen that, especially with a lot of our friends in the AuthorTube community who have gone through querying and being in having books on submission and everything. Yeah, I don't think I was ready to sort of put my mindset just to focus on that side of publishing and everything. So I kind of glossed over that a little bit. There wasn't really anything I disliked. That's probably I kind of just skimmed over that part. So that's probably what I would
I'm looking, I'm like, did I put question marks by anything or anything I thought was like, no, I'm with you. Like, I pretty much agreed with anything. And like you, I also like, I understood, because again, all three of them do this like little portion at the end where they do talk about publishing. And I feel like it's to feel like they're giving you a complete picture. But at the same time, I'm like you, I'm like, I'm here to learn how to get the book there. Like, the publishing part, because like I know it's not there yet. Like, I know it's not. So no, I felt the same way. And I remember when we did the live with Becca, and in Becca's video for NK Jemisin, she said the same thing, because she dug deep into everything that deal with the world building and whatnot. But when it came to the like publishing, she's like, okay, this isn't as much for me as it. So I do like that there are the different categories, or like not categories, topics that they have, and that they do have that. But as me personally, like you, it was like, I took notes on it, but it was probably the part of the class that I was not listening to the most. Like, I was probably like listening and washing dishes at the same time. Like, it was that part for me. So author JC said, I had 15 pages of notes for Dan Brown. Oh wow. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely can see how, like, there was a lot that he gave information on. And honestly, I feel like I probably didn't have as many, because some of the stuff, it was like kind of repetitive from the Baldacci one for me. But also hadn't got through the workbook.
Those workbooks.
Yeah. So those workbooks. So, did you get through the workbook, author JC? I'm curious. And then Charlotte says, from memory, there are a few episodes of Writing Excuses where they talk about writing action with some guest hosts who are actually martial artists and stuff, which was very interesting. That's cool.
What is Writing Excuses though? I'm sorry if I
like, I want to put that on my to-do list for this week. Because it's also part of why I have not written. I've been a little scared to actually go to the main part of the, because I'm like, how does she do these men? How am I like? A few of them I got it. I'm in my head. She like walking up to him and like stabbing him, but like that can't work for everybody. So how do I figure this out? So let us know, Charlotte. Let us know. Miss Pamela says, chapter to chapter, using cliffhangers effectively, that it doesn't get annoying is knowledge. Yeah, that's what I liked about Dan Brown, was he gave you different types of cliffhangers. And because I was like, cause in my head, a cliffhanger, like dun dun, but he was like, no, a cliffhanger could be withholding information. A cliffhanger could be, oh no, I found this out, I'll talk to you about it in the car, and you go to the next chapter, and it's right. So it's not like this big thing, but it's enough to make you be like, well, I want to know what it is. So let me get to chapter 7 now. And I was okay. I like that. Because of course I've seen it in books, I've experienced it, but have I written it? Not until this class. You know what? I'm not judging, because the workbooks are thick. They are thick. Like, I feel like NK's was the shortest one, and hers was still like 70 pages. Like, I feel like Dan Brown's was like 90 pages too. Hey, how are you? I hope you're having a good night. Okay, do you have any questions for me of the class, or things you want to talk about from it?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. I thought you were talking to Hake.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot the comment was for it. I didn't even see that.
So one thing I remember I said this in my video, I was really excited about, but ended up being a bit disappointed as well, was when he was going to talk about how to manage writing while having a full-time job. And because at the time when he was writing, like first writing before he became a full-time author, he was also a practicing lawyer. So I was like, oh, I'm going to find out some tips and everything because I work full-time 9 to 5 at the moment. So I was like, yes, I need these tips in my life because this is one of the things I'm really struggling with at the moment. On top of like trying to film videos and everything. So finding that time, and I don't know, I was just ready to hear like any crazy ideas he had, which ended up being like not really anything. Like he mentioned to make the most of your free time. It's like, yes, obviously. I don't know. I don't know what kind of magic answer I was waiting for him to start talking about, but yeah, that part was disappointing. I don't know. I just wanted more. I needed more. I needed help.
Okay, so this is me being honest. Everybody's answer for this is to make time for writing. Wake up earlier or stay late. Like that's it. There's nothing
Yeah,
else.
that's all. That's all you can do.
Like
That's all you can do.
and Kay did it, Dan Brown did. Like everybody's answer was just like to wake up earlier or to make your time. And the only thing is take your time and keep your time. So if you set this time to write, like always be writing or whatever. And I was just like, I mean, it sounds good, but like life happens, yo. Like
Right?
I was just like, so here's the other thing, because I feel like the other part of this is in the times that they were writing, right? Like these are, at least for Dan Brown and David Baldacci, it's like the mid 90s, early 2000s. So like life and paying for bills and doing, like, it was just so much different because it's been 20 years. So like I feel like what works for y'all might not really work for this new generation because it's not. Also, I feel like our generation really, we care about burnout. We care about we care about our mental health. So we're like not trying to work 40 hours and write 20 hours a week on top of it because we know it's a lot. But I feel like there's another conversation about like sacrifices and things you have to make like for your art as well, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Charlotte says Writing Excuses is a podcast by Brandon Sanderson and a few other authors. I can't remember what season it was, but they have a website where I think you can search through topics and find the episodes. So who's writing that down is me.
Yep, I'm writing that down.
He's like, where my pen at? Because definitely need that. Brandon Sanderson. So it's called Writing Excuses. Charlotte, I'm so glad you're here, girl. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm going to look that up later.
Right. Author JC said, they said we are going to make sure we give you your money's worth with those workbooks. That is for sure.
Yeah.
So for sure. Planner or pantsers? So I prefer the term discovery writer. But I will say that I always plan in some form. Now, I'm not a very extensive outliner, but I am a like, hey, this is the timeline in which things need to happen. I do know these major events need to happen in my story. I am one of those people. What about you?
I'm definitely a planner. At least in the outlining stage. What I found with my last book that I drafted, the book that I drafted, is that I really needed to create a solid outline just to get me started with the book. I don't know. I think it really helps ease my anxiety as well. Like, where am I taking this? What am I going to do? I think that just I will procrastinate forever if I just don't have some kind of direction. I know I can sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to type this in. But when I'm actually writing and drafting, it could be like a completely different thing where I sort of take it off script when it comes to just not following the outline in the first place. So I think I kind of need that outline to sort of get me started and have it there as like, you know, I can refer to this if I get stuck. But I kind of explore with my writing as well. But I definitely need to plan initially just so I can get to the drafting stage, I think.
That makes sense. And honestly, like I feel like all writers are some version of both. Because I feel like you do have a plan going in it, but I feel like very rarely as a writer does that plan stay, because you learn your characters or you learn the story. And I feel like even as a discovery writer, I still know how I want the book to happen. I don't ever like I have a premise, and so I know like at the end this needs to happen, and I know I need to have a few, you know what I mean? So that's just a thought I had as you were talking, because I was like, I think that's a thing that we all like in some version, we do a little bit of either or, I feel like.
Yeah.
Other JC says, definitely a plotter. Miguel says, I'm kind of a planter. I feel that. Miss Pamela says, make time is a little annoying. Ha ha. That very little. Thank you. Totally agree, especially with the job that demands my soul. Right. Like I feel like, man, this is a conversation we need to have another day, but I feel like there is so much to be said about the hustle mentality, the work mentality that we've all been like groomed to have from childhood to adulthood. And as a creative person, it is so hard to turn that off. And it is so hard to switch between the two. And it's like, you're taught to give everything when you go to work. You're not taught to just go to work and just do your job. You're taught like you need to be the best employee you need to be doing going above and beyond. Bro, that takes energy.
Yeah.
And if I've been going above and beyond for 40 hours a week, low key, all I want to do is sleep. You know, like all I want to do is rest. And like I love the term creator. And like for me, I think of it very literally. Like as a creator, you are birthing something, you're creating something. That is exhausting. It is not easy at all. Like I know me personally, I've been so emotionally spent after writing certain scenes that it's like I don't want to write for days, because it took a lot out of me to like write that scene and get that energy out. And so I feel like I'm rambling, but like Pamela, I get it. It's just so much that goes into it that we don't ever talk about. It's so much more than just sitting down and writing, right? So I definitely agree. And I'm sorry your job demands your soul, love, because they do. Jobs be like, can I have your soul, your firstborn child? They want everything. Miguel says, I want to check out writing excuses. Well, no lie. Like I low key was like, let's do a video on that. Like watch a season, talk about what I learned from like a season of the podcast. That was legitimately what was going through my head. Okay, Hey Kay says, I'm a planter, both. Okay. All right. Anything else? Any other thoughts or any other things you want to talk about?
Not really. There are some exercises that I did bookmark that I was thinking of trying later. I haven't tried any yet. He also does recommend for some of the topics a few books. So he actually did recommend 2 books on creating a more active setting. So going back to making the setting a character. So he recommends some books for that. Also structuring your novel. I don't know. It was pretty like similar to the class I found it, the workbook. I mean, if you didn't want to take notes, you'd pretty much be fine with just the workbook and having what he mentions in there. I just like taking notes as well during the video, just so I can see what I got out of it. But Yeah, not too much. Yeah, I think I just want to try some of the exercises at some point. But
yeah, that's me too.
yeah.
Like I feel like I'll probably get more from actually doing than just the reading and the hearing. So I'm right there with you. Hello, Extraordinary Noir. So good to see you. I'm Discovery, but I naturally plot as the story unfolds. I figure out where it's going. Yeah, I completely get that. Charlotte said the best advice I've ever heard is take the donuts from Amanda Palmer. Her book is called The Art of Asking, and she has a TED Talk with the same title. The take the donuts basically means learn how to accept help without feeling guilty about it. All the little things that help you be able to make your art. Highly recommend her book. And I found that line a lot more helpful than make time for your art sentiment. Yeah. I get that. I definitely get that. I'm curious about that. Let me write that in her name down. I'll check it out later. Amanda Palmer.
Yeah, coming in with all these awesome recommendations there.
Charlotte said, well, since I'm here, I'm just gonna make sure to lay out some references for y'all to check out. Miguel says, yes, I'm wondering what he says on making setting a character because that concept is so intriguing. Yeah, no, and I, like I said, like all three of them in some portion talk about this as a thing. And so I feel like I feel like it's something that for us as people who are just in the YouTube writing space don't talk about a lot. And so it was definitely good to hear like published authors talking about it.
Yeah.
Save the Cat, anyone? So I do have Save the Cat, and I have skimmed certain things, but I haven't really went through and read it. But mainly because I'm not a plotter, and so like I'm like I am genuinely scared that if I do an outline where I'm like being extensive and like really getting into it, that I will not want to write the book. Like I'll be like, that's enough. I don't want to do no more. Like I feel like I know myself, and I low key feel like that would be what I do. Like that would be how it would. But you Save the Cat though, right?
Yeah, Save the Cat definitely got me through my first book for sure. Yeah, I will always love Save the Cat because of that. Doesn't mean though that like I'm going to use it, I guess, for every book that I want to write. Mm-hmm. For example, my story that I'm writing now, I used the beats sort of as like, I don't know, to guide me. I found that my outlining process with my current story compared to the book I previously drafted was much different. Like if I really tried and forced certain sections into those beats, like it would kind of do my head in. So I don't know, I just went with how I felt the story needed to go. So I kind of strayed away from those initial 15 beats for this story. So yeah, I think it's a really good starting point for people who are struggling with outlines, or, you know, to sort of connect all the dots to have like a really concise story. I think it's a really good book for that. But yeah, I wouldn't limit yourself by making sure you hit every beat. Like as long as you're telling the story that you want to tell, and you're able to take it from A to B, I think that's the most important part.
I would agree. I haven't read it, but I did watch Kate's recent unpopular opinions video, which everybody's talking about, and it's so funny. But
yes,
she said, she was like, it's great, but like I don't think it's a you have to do this every time, and I don't like. And so I think the number one thing that I have learned in the year that I have been a part of this community is that certain things will work for certain stories and other things work better for other stories. Not every story is going to be the same, and so I understand wanting to try everything, but be okay with the fact that it might. Okay, the boyfriend just got here, so I was making sure the dog. I know. I knew they were gonna start going crazy when he got here. So yeah, so I would say that like just there's a bunch of different things that you can do and that might work, but don't feel bad if it doesn't work for you. Don't feel bad if you're like, dang, everybody uses Save the Cat and I didn't get nothing out of it. Like, it's okay. There are other techniques and other things, and maybe Save the Cat doesn't work for this novel, but it will for the next one. So that. Charlotte says, hee, I don't give much advice myself, but I can't recommend a lot of people who do. Hey, you know, I don't know, but I'm gonna point you to somebody who do know. That is perfect. That's perfect.
That's just as helpful.
Right. Hey Kay says, I think Save the Cat is great to read and try, but after you write your first novel with it, you kind of just know where the plot beats go naturally. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I can see Save the Cat as training wheels. I definitely could see that for sure. Learn the technique so you can change it up. I love these. Neil Gaiman is anti 3-act rule, and his books, especially his children's stuff, is amazing. Yeah, I've only read the Anansi Boys, I guess, but I loved it. I thought it was great. Now, I say read, I listened to the audiobook. Same difference. But I have realized that, like, I am more prone to like an audiobook when the person is really good at like accents and stuff. And so that does impact how much I would have liked it if it was just me trying to read it in my head. Because I don't be giving nobody accents. They sound like me. So, it don't really work like that. Okay, so final thoughts.
Well, this was my first masterclass, so I can't compare it as much to other ones like you can. But as my first masterclass, I did thoroughly enjoy this. I remember being so immersed in everything he was saying. Just listening to him speak, I really enjoyed it. Like, I hope he's done like some of his audiobooks, honestly, because like the way he reads like some parts of his books and things like that, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, it was a really fun experience. I really enjoyed it, and I definitely want to watch some more masterclasses for sure. Yeah, it was pretty good overall. I got some things out of it, so I'm happy with that. And we got to do the collabs, so yeah, really enjoyable.
For me, final thoughts is I definitely would still recommend it. Like, I definitely would recommend it, especially if you are a thriller writer, because I do think you will get enough about thrillers of stuff that you haven't heard before, because I definitely got stuff that I had never heard before his class. I do think I'm going to still try to make it through the workbook so that I can feel like I got the full class experience. But I would recommend him. I feel like the only other thing I think about is like I do want to read 1 or 2 of his books so that I can like judge how I feel about it, because that's the other thing. Like, the only person out of the 3 that I've read was N.K. Jemisin. Like, she's the only one I read, and I've watched all of Dan Brown's movies, but I haven't read any of his books or anything like that. And so I that is one thing that I want to do. I would like to read Baldacci's books, because no lie, he made them sound interesting. He really did.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it wasn't like, oh, this would be boring. I was like, okay, this is kind of good. The only thing I really wish, and I'm gonna look, I want to see if they can find a psych thriller author to do a master class, because that is what, like, that's really where I feel like I want that to be my niche when I like, or niche, however you say that word, when I get into writing. Like, I think psych thrillers are really what I want to do. And so I would love to hear someone talk about that, because I don't feel like enough is talked about the psychology of people when writing. And so that definitely would be the thing. But I enjoyed it. The collab was fun. I learned stuff watching your video. You reminded me of stuff I hadn't heard. Like, it was great. Let's see. We had a few more comments come in. So Hey K says, try the Graveyard book, audiobook online, and he narrates it. Is this by Neil Gaiman? Is that what you're saying? Or is this by somebody else? Let me know. Also, random note, Neil Gaiman and Amanda Palmer are married and are like, okay, well, now I really want to find that TED Talk, because like, if you're married, then it's like, I kind of want to pick your brain. What is it like to marry somebody that got all them stories in their head? I'm curious. David Baldacci's books are amazing. Okay, cool. Definitely have to check it out. Okay, by Neil Gaiman also. All right, y'all. I think that's all we got for tonight, huh? I think we're good. Okay, hold
Yeah.
on. Netflix show Evil is an amazing psych thriller to learn from. Okay, I'll know.
I like that.
Thank y'all, all y'all in these recommendations. On it. Your girl got to flip through and find a blank page. Hold on. What? Okay, this is called Evil. Well, I love a good psych thriller, so I'm probably gonna watch that tonight. All right, y'all. Do you want to do an outro? Let anybody know anything you got coming up or whatnot?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. If you made it to the stream, thank you for joining us. My name is Tash. I have a YouTube channel called TrulyTash. I do videos on writing and journaling. I want to thank Cachet again for having me here to discuss the masterclass collab that we did. I should hopefully have a video coming up. Honestly, I'm just banking it on as soon as I get my outline done. I'm trying to just focus on that. Yeah, and get that done. And then once I get that done, I'll be posting a video. Yeah, so we'll see how long that takes me. I'm going to try and work on it after this stream. So yeah, wish me luck, guys. Yeah, do you want to do your outro?
Yeah. Okay, everybody. If you are here now, thank you so much for watching. Or if you're watching on the replay, I appreciate all your love. Definitely, if you have more questions, drop them down in the comments, and we will definitely both be like looking at them. I'll be like, hey, somebody commented and they asked us something. Let's go look at it. I will be I won't be crocheting tomorrow. Paul will be here, so I won't be crocheting in the morning, but I will crochet in the evening. So if y'all just want to come through and chit chat and be artistic with me, come ahead and do that. Monday I will be hosting episode 3 of When Black Women Speak with Britt Ryderly and Bree from the Lot Booktician. We will be talking about Black love and Black joy as far as books and writings go, so definitely come check that out. And other than that, it's coming up on a year since I released Penelope's Curve, and so I'm kind of trying to release something else for y'all. So, if me and my critique partners can link up and get them to read this draft or something, y'all might have something coming September 1st. But thank you guys so much for being here. We definitely appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys next time. Who knows what we'll do for
Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Who knows? Bye.
Bye.
You gotta press the button twice.